Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. And some Justy. Welcome. Good morning, it's some Justy. But anyway, welcome to a review I've been wanting to do for a while. That's what I want to talk about for a while. And that is Season 2, Episode 11. Visage. Yes. So, at the end of the last episode, kind of set this up. I'm trying to get this so it's. I feel like this isn't moving. Winnie is missing in action. But now, he returns. Or does he? As I remember, this goes back to renting these at the library. I remember watching this episode and being so confused because I had not seen every episode in season 1. So I was Whitney acting this way. I'd seen the episode where he left. So I was just confused. Why is acting so different? And then when it happened, I went, oh, this must be a character that was from earlier on in the season, or from the series, or something. First season, yeah. So, but having rewatched through, since I've watched the episode, this character shows up, and then it's here, it's like, yeah! It's obvious that's who it is. But this episode was good. Till the ending, I feel like the ending is a little... It's always been a little meh for me how this ends, but, So we start the episode with Clark and Lana trying to repair the pipes at the Talon. The water pipes. Clark using his heat vision to fix it. Now don't worry, Lana doesn't see it. She's preoccupied. And they do the whole... Like, she's staring at his wet shirt. You can see his pecs through the shirt. And obviously, her shirt is wet, so it's a little more wet down, a little bit tighter on her skin. So, yeah, they be checking each other out. And something you're going to notice, they always do this. They always get Clark and Lana close just before the rug is pulled out from under them. In season 1, they got really close, and then Whitney's dad died. So, they get really close, and I know that, Clark asked her to a carnival, which we never go to. I kept thinking, I don't remember this carnival, because we never go to it. It's just mentioned, And then it's weird. After this, we cut to a scene with Whitney and a few Marines out in the field when there's a bunch of bombs going off. Am I led to believe this is actually... The way he's talking makes me think this is not actually Whitney. Because it's never explicitly said whether or not Whitney dies. They say he died in action, but I don't know. So for me to talk more about content, so that I need to give up the spoiler. This is not Whitney that comes back. It's Tina Greer, Lizzie Kaplan's character from the first season, X-Ray, that episode. Here's the thing, though. So they wait forever to reveal who it is, like halfway through the episode. Now, for a first-time viewing, when you're not exactly sure what's going on, that is one thing. But when you've seen this before, it is painfully obvious who it is. You know who it is, and you're just like, why does it take so long for them to reveal who it is? It's, I also feel like the reveal here isn't done very well, I would say. He throws Clark out of Whitney's house. He lands there, and then he x-rays the house, and you see the green skeleton, which instantly tells you Tina Greer. So they should have cut there to Clark showing up at the torch and saying, Whitney is Tina Greer. That's that, you know, it would go from that shot of him saying it, cut to him showing, Whitney is Tina Greer. You know, it's not Whitney, it's Tina Greer, something like that. You know, I also don't like the fact that when he delivers this news, like, Chloe is there, so he can't really explain how he knows that it's Tina. He has to explain to Pete later. Also, how long did it take Clark to get from Whitney's house to the school? Because he gets there, right? And he tells Pete and Chloe, and he and Pete are going to warn Lana. All of a sudden, Lana shows up. It's Tina. It's revealed to be Tina, and I'm just like, how fast is she to get there? Right? So, something I have to put out. I need to compliment Eric Johnson's performance. Because Eric Johnson's last performance as Whitney was in the episode, or maybe at the beginning of this, that was actually him, but I would say it was actually in the last episode of season 1. Because he's not playing Whitney. He's got to play Tina as Whitney. He's got to play this unhinged character that is, you know, doing all this. And there's something that I never thought about until this episode. But Tina is an LGBT character. I never thought of that. Nothing against it. But I never thought of that. Because at this point, she's in love with Lana. She wants to be with Lana. Before, she wanted to be friends with Lana. Right? And when she couldn't have her, she said, I'm going to kill her. Now, she admits she's in love with Lana and wants to be with Lana. So she pretends to be Whitney. That's why. When that doesn't work, she then pretends to be Clark. And I just, you know, when she has that speech to Clark, when she puts the necklace around his neck and ties him down, and she explains how she's in love with Lana, I'm like, wow, I never thought of her as an LGBT character before. It's leave it to Smallville to be ahead. Smallville to be ahead of the curve. You know, it's something. However, if you did this nowadays, someone will go, woke! That character's woke! You can do... This is how you do it subtly. You start off with a character that sort of, you know, gradually realizes the truth, not overtly putting it in their face. You know? The difference is here, they didn't advertise this character as being LGBT. When she was cast, they didn't... Nowadays, they would say Lizzie Kaplan plays Tina Greer, a bisexual teenage girl. You know? They didn't do that. They were subtle about it. Even this is so subtle, I didn't really think about it till now. So props to the writers for that. You know, I never thought of that. You know? But... yeah, also though, what's with the bad wig? They don't show Tina much in this episode, but it feels like maybe Lizzie Kaplan did something to her hair, but they needed to make her look the same as she did in season 1, so they gave her a wig that looked like it, and it doesn't look real. It looks like a over the top. It's like, now this is not going to be a direct representation, but do with it what you will. It's like this. It's kind of like, not like completely, but it feels like they just had this mop top thing pull over the top like this is what it looks like. Like it looks like a fake wig. Such a feelings you know to be true. Look like the Emperor. Take the glasses off. Darth Vader. You know. Anyway, so, yeah. But again, with Eric Johnson's performance, he's not playing Whitney. He's got to play another character retained to be Whitney. It comes off really good. And I think, watching it this time, it does come off a little obvious that something else is going on here when he freaks out. He starts yelling at himself in the mirror, and then he tears the door off the bathroom stall in the men's room. And then, the very next day, when Clark goes to talk to Lana, and I was like, oh yeah, Whitney told me what happened. You attacked and you ripped the door off the bathroom wall. I'm like, oh gee, that's just like what happened in the episode X-Ray. They're kind of copying the same thing. And here's something I didn't need, okay? So, I'll get to there's a B plot to talk about. I'll get to it. So, after Tina ties Clark up, she's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to get Lana. I'm going to be you. She turns into Clark and I'm going to go after her as you. And all of a sudden, there's a scene where Lana comes out of the shower and Chloe is right there. And obviously, after a few lines, you realize that Chloe is Tina. Why is this scene here? You take this scene out, it has no bearing on the plot. Other than a line later when Clark shows up at the Talon and you have a line where Lana's like, is there something in the water? Because Chloe starts acting weird and even kind of touches her shoulders or whatever. And it's like, you take this out, it would have no bearing on the plot. I also like, what I do like though, I didn't really care for this, but what I do like is the scene where Clark goes to talk to Jonathan and he's like, well, he could be anyone right now. And he's like, pulls out the necklace and goes, well, you're right about that. And we cut to him throwing Clark down the cellar. And this is where we get to reveal that there's something with the ship. The ship turns the necklace into crystal, so it doesn't affect him. We do find out that connects more to something in the future. But, B plot. Talk about the B plot real quick. Lex and Helen are having relationship issues after Lex finds out that Helen had a secret meeting with his father. Of course, she blows it way out of proportions, or so we may think. There's more with Helen than we know. But we find out, according to Helen, Lionel actually paid her to dump Lex, but she refused. But he still wired the money anyway. Which I'm telling you, I'm not going to tell you what's actually going on, but I'll tell you right now that it's complete and total bullshit. So, yes, I told you there's something with Helen. We will get to that as the season goes on. I didn't realize she was introduced so early. I thought it was later, but I guess it's the middle of the season technically. So, yeah, that's really the subplot there, is Lex and his relationship with her. And yeah, the B plot. Back to the A plot we want to talk about here. Okay, so I told you that the ending is the only thing I really have a big problem with, and that's because it's done so sloppily. So, Clark shows up at the Talon, looking to talk to Lana, and starts banging out with her, and she freaks out. She's like, there's something going on. What is going on? People acting weird. And then the real Clark shows up after being rescued by the ship. And he comes in, and I give props to Tina for acting so quickly. Stay away from Tina. He's like, what? She's like, what? Tina? He's like, no, I'm Clark. That's Tina. And he's like, it's me, Clark. And he looks over at the sink. The guy who fixed the pipes. And she's like, whoa. I laugh. I'm like, that's how he gets her to realize it's him, the guy who fixed the leaky pipe. And then we have a Clark fight, which I think is fine. But then what happens is she goes to impale Clark, goes to hit Clark with something. He moves out of the way, and she goes right into a pipe. turns back into Tina and goes, "Watch over Lana," or something like that. And I'm just like, yeah, no, that doesn't work. I should mention there was a scene earlier. It's a very interesting scene. If you haven't figured out what it is a military member shows up at the Fordman house. He introduces himself, and Whitney's mom says, "Oh, you're here to see Whitney?" He's like, I don't understand. And then Whitney comes down, "Hey, Lieutenant." And he's like, "No, there must be some misunderstanding, because from what we know, your son is," and he just beats him to death with a baseball bat. But we learn after the climax that this guy was coming to tell Mrs. Foreman that they found Whitney's body. He died in combat. Yeah, I did tear up because Whitney was he had his ups and downs. I don't know if necessarily he should have died off screen. And it's really weird that his last actual appearance is not as himself. There is a cameo in season 4, but it's not much, and I'm surprised he even came back for that. But yeah, it's sad. Could add more, but I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Superman. 4 Superman logos out of 5. Remember how to pronounce that. 4 Superman logos out of 5. I really enjoyed this episode. It's just the end that makes it go, yeah. But everything else, good. Oh, and that one scene with Chloe, not needed, but, Chloe. But, yeah, and Pete. Again, we need more Pete. After he gets knocked out, I don't think we see him again in the episode. It's very weird. Is he still sleeping in the hallway? Did anyone ever check on him? He's still alive, but I don't know. But, yeah, so what are your thoughts on this episode? Let me comment, let me like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.